the guidelines and the rules, and that's to me is quite typical of Hong Kong, of something like that to happen, I think.
Because if they don't follow the guideline, there's some people with sympathy to the receptionist. Because if he or she didn't follow the guideline, and the problems came out. For example, she ran out and see what's happening outside, and nobody pick up the phone, and then she will get fired without any warning.
But hopefully, obviously, there's going to be an inquiry about it. And I mean, the positive thing is that I'm sure that there will be some changes as a result of a high-profile, human story and human case like that.
But I think what I could see is that after the handover, I think the bureaucracy is getting more and more worse in Hong Kong. I think it's the ideology of the society.
It is a bit of the ideology. I can see that. That sometimes people who have got a job in responsibility, sometimes they are so afraid of getting in trouble or something, of doing anything that
doing anything wrong.
Do anything that going into an area when sometimes it just takes a bit of common sense, I think. But there we go. Hopefully there will be changes as a result of that.
There are some more deep-seated aspects to this fiasco, because actually after the handover, there's 10 years after the handover, right? Probably within the collective unconscious, let me use a Carl Jung word, the Hong Kong people are very keen to maintain a kind of a Britishness. That means to maintain the rule of law in order to be in distinction to mainlanders. So this may be a kind of a hidden cost that caused this, because the Hong Kong people always are proud of that we are strict rule followers. Right? But then, actually, back in the 1980s, Hong Kong people were also reputed to be shrewd, flexible people. But this fiasco itself shows that we have lost the shrewd and flexibility part of our so-called citizen character, if not national character. But then we only retain the bureaucratic part. Becomes overly bureaucratic. And so losing all kinds of common sense and flexibility.
Maybe Matt, you can tell a joke.
Ken sent me this joke. I don't know whether I should tell it or not, actually.
We should post it on the web.
No, the bureaucratism.
He sent me some jokes, actually, to do with
philosopher corner.
He's saying that bureaucratism, I can't even say it, is when you have two cows, the government takes both, shoots one, milks the other, and throws the milk away. So here's some other terms as well, actually. This is communism. You have two cows, the government takes both and gives you the milk. Fascism, you have two cows, the government takes both and sells you the milk. Nazism, you have two cows, the government takes both and shoots you. And capitalism, you have two cows, you sell one and buy a bull. So to produce more, is it?
Because it's like bureaucratism. The government take both and throw the meals away. That's a very good description.
I think we should move on to talk a bit more about Gaza, which is a pretty serious situation. And I think I'm particularly interested to ask you guys a bit about what Hong Kongers view, how they view that situation, because obviously what's happening in Gaza in the past week, it is actually it's the equivalent of Tiananmen Square in 1989. It's that kind of situation happening. For Israel to engage in what it's doing, I think.
Not exactly, because some Hong Kong people, because even the media is showing that the Hamas is also throwing some missiles towards, for example, last night is on Ashkelon, right? So actually, in Hong Kong there are also some quite pro-Israelite people, especially within the church, because we were all schooled into this pro-Israelite stance.
I think they have a misconception that the conservative party, the Republican in America, is equal to Christian. They have some...
Yes, there's a gross and very tragic confusion, but and still Jewish, many evangelical Christians hold this kind of confusion. But certainly after 8 years of bullshit bureaucracy,
George W. Bush,
George W. Bullshit bureaucracy. Actually, the sympathy for this American backed Israel is quite low in Hong Kong, generally speaking. But still, compared with mainland China, we are still far lagging, because basically for mainland China, although they try to maintain a sensitive and good working relationship with Israel because of all sorts of benefits, because for example, if they want the early warning system plane, they have to get it from Israel, all this kind of American military technology via Israel. But then basically China is pro-Third World and also pro-Palestinian. So when they if you watch CCTV, they talk about Gaza and all this. They will portray basically about the sufferings of the Gaza people.
I mean, as an atrocity, to be honest, I think I was probably wrong to compare it to Tiananmen Square, actually, because it's a slightly different kind of situation. But in terms of just basic humanity, what's happening is pretty outrageous, I think. The Israel, they always try and say, we're just targeting military targets, but it's not happening,
in fact,
is it?
It's not.
It's not. I mean, the photos coming out of children, it's shocking, I think. I'm particularly quite interested to ask you. It's interesting the way that the Hong Kong media have portrayed it, because obviously it's interesting. The English news have put the story on the front pages, for several days in the past week. It's interesting that the Hong Kong media they have covered it, but not on the front page. They kind of push it like on the back page in that way. I mean, what's happening there? Why isn't it given as an important a story in amongst the Chinese media?
I think there is something more to do with the Hong Kong people's nowadays their so-called citizen character or national character more than any other thing, because Hong Kong people nowadays are no longer international in a sense. Although we are pro-Western, we like Western things, Western consumerism. But
in a stupid way.
Yeah. we like LV, we like Gucci, we like those things. But we don't like looking into international world. So our news are very, very parochial. Very, very parochial. And never talking long in terms of any major international news.
For example, I could say when I was studying in England during media studies, they say that why the people, the poor people like to read the newspaper The Sun, and the Mirror, and the middle class people like to read the Times and the Guardians, and the conservative people like to read Daily Telegraph. But in Hong Kong, is like 80 to 90% newspaper become The Sun. And the Mirror, in British
we call Apple. So we are all Appleized.
Apple Daily News paper has changed all the culture and all the reporting style
it has
in every newspaper. More photos and also make the big words like shocking truth, something like that.
Sure. I mean, saying that, I think actually the Hong Kong tabloids are better than the British tabloids, actually, in many ways.
Technically.
Just in terms of, if you flick through them, they've got a lot in there. If you try and look through the Sun, and it is really, there's not much of real news, but the Hong Kong media, they cover it more extensively.
They try to marry the tabloid with the main newspaper, because the Apple itself become also the main newspaper. That means all those mainline people are also reading Apple, so there has to be a marriage between tabloid and mainline newspaper. That means they put more news into it, but still they tabloidize it.
It's like technically why they take many things into good pictures.